In today's video, we're going to learn how to make this night helmet. Okay, so we have our body template, and if you want to know how I made this, I do have a couple of tutorials on how to make this, but today we're just going to make him a little helmet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a mesh, we're going to add a UV sphere, and then we're just going to move it up here and scale it so that it just covers his head like so, okay? And then we're going to go into X-ray mode, and then we're going to get rid of the bottom half and the left half. Okay, so we're left with this. And then we can get out of, and then we're just going to mirror this in the middle, and we don't have to like pick a mirror object because the origin point is directly in the middle, but we are going to turn on clipping so that you know, when we move this, it doesn't split apart. Okay. All right. And then we're going to go to the side view. Let's actually go into, and then we're going to take these. Actually, let's take these vertices, and then we're just going to extrude it down. Okay. And then what I like to do is I like to turn it like this a little bit. And then just to make it straight, I'm just going to scale it on the Y until it's kind of like that, okay? It doesn't need to be precise. It just needs to look pretty good. And then just to like fill this up a little bit, we're going to make maybe 3 loop cuts, Control R, right? Okay, so far we have this. And I am actually going to get rid of the ears, so I'm going to press H to hide them, just in case we need them back. And yeah, this is what we have. Okay, it kind of looks like, you know, like a bow cut, which is what we want. And then to make it look like a helmet, it's super easy. We're just going to take solidify modifier and subdivision surface modifier. Okay, so here we're gonna make the thickness into 1, and whoa, that is not what we want, right? And that's because we did not apply the scale. So make sure you apply the scale, and then 1 is pretty much what we want. And the negative offset, I think, is what we want, because, you know, we don't want it like this. Because then it'll leave like empty gaps in between. So yeah, let's go negative offset. And yeah, we can make it a little, bit like that. So like I do want it to clip a little bit like this, okay? So there are no like empty gaps in between the head and the helmet, okay? And then the next modifier, we are going to do a subdivision surface modifier, and let's leave it at 3, maybe 4, if your computer can handle it. And this order of solidify and subdivision surface matters. So let's say we do the subdivision before the solidify, then it'll make it like this, where the edges are like super sharp, okay? So if that's the style you want to go for, do that. But I think I want mine to look a little smoother like this. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below which one you prefer. But yeah, we're just going to move on with this. And then to kind of shape this helmet a little bit, I'm going to turn on this. I'm going to turn on proportional editing. And then I'm just going to move this a bit bigger, and then maybe do that. Scale out on the Y again. And then here, I think I want it to be kind of like this. Yeah, and I'm going to move it in a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to move both of these in a little bit, and then turn it on the Z, maybe like that. you know, kind of hugs the face a little bit more. And then this one, let's kind of shape it inward a little bit, so we have like a smoother transition like that. But it's up to you how you want to shape your helmet, right? And then here we're just gonna go to front face. Let's turn off proportional editing because I want more control over these individual lines. And I'm just gonna make like, oh, sometimes you'll click like the ones in the back, so make sure you're not moving those. And then I just wanna, yeah, make this like a gradual thing. I think I like that. And if you want like this to be a little bit sharper, what I usually do is make a loop cut and kind of go close to the center where I want like that sharp edge. But what that does is it leaves like this line, which, you know, maybe you do want that. But if you don't, instead of doing that, you can just do a subdivide. So you just take these 2 points, right click, and then subdivide. And then this, you know, if you press GG, will kind of be your point. But it looks a little weird, like this. But the advantage of that is that it doesn't leave that line in the middle. So it's kind of like up to you how you want to shape it. But I think how it was originally, like this, is fine. So I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. So like the helmet part is pretty much done. Really super simple, right? So let's move into how I would do like a visor. Okay, so this part is kind of it's a bit tricky. I still have some problems with it. So I'm just adding a plane. Okay, and then we're going to mirror it. And we'll use the head as our object. And let's turn on clipping. Go to edit mode. And then we are just going to put these together. Let's move this in. And then we're just going to, let's go to top view. Let's move these slightly like so. And then we're just gonna go around the head like this until we get to about here. Okay, and then doing like, you know, in front view, we're just gonna shape it so that it has like a gradual, you know, slight curve to it, I guess. That's fine. Okay, and then let's do this. I think I want this to be like here, and then let's add another one, and then maybe just push that out a little bit. Okay. Okay, and we don't want this to be like completely just flat, so I'm gonna add 2 loop cuts like this. And then this one, I'll move up a little bit. And then this one, I'll move up a little bit like that, so that we have like a kind of a curve. But these vertices, I'm gonna move back. And then these, I'm pressing GG, so it stays on this like track. And then I'm just gonna like try to straighten that as best as I can. It doesn't matter too much how accurate you are here, so just do it the best that you can, and that should be good enough. Okay, so it looks like this, and then we're just going to apply our 2 modifiers that we love to use, the solidify modifier, and we're gonna go with 1. And we are going to apply the scale. And I think I actually want this to be a little, let's add the subdivision. surface modifier, go to maybe 4. I think I want this to be a little thicker, so I'm gonna try 2. Okay, that's too thick. Maybe 1.5. Yeah, I think I like 1.5. Okay. So this is what we have for our visor, and this is pretty much how I made the Valorian soldier visor. If you were interested in how I made that, this is pretty much how. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change this origin to be maybe here. Yeah, let's try that. Turn off that. So that whenever I rotate this on the x-axis, it kind of goes, you know, up and down. So visor down, visor up, like so. Okay. And then I am going to change it a little bit so that when it's up, it looks, you know, it's like this. So let's see how that looks. Visor down, visor down. And yeah, I think I like that. And then before we discuss how we're gonna put the eye holes here, we're actually going to make a duplicate of this. Just to show you how I would do either, let's raise this a little bit, either like a face mask like this, or you know, like a chin strap like that. Okay, so we are actually just going to we're gonna make the thickness of this one just 1. Okay, and then we're gonna scale it down a little bit, maybe here, and then move that inward like this, and then we're just gonna move this around so that it you know, clips together to make it solid. And then in side view, we are going to rotate it like this a little bit. Actually, let's, when we do the rotate, turn on proportional editing. Like this. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, this is what you would do if you wanted like a face mask like this, but I kind of want it to be a chin strap, which, you know, it also kind of works for. But I think if I'm doing the chin strap, I would get rid of this last row of vertices. Something like that. Okay, so now we're cooking. And I do want this to be a visor, so we are gonna wanna put some eye holes in it. And I don't know the best way to do this, so I'm just gonna show you what I did. Okay, so we are actually going to apply all these modifiers. So this is kind of like a point of no return for this visor. But if you mess up, you can always, you know, just remake it, or, you know, save it before you do this. Now when we go into edit mode, it's like this, which is what we want. And I am just gonna reset this origin to be in the middle, and then I'm gonna control period, move the origin back to where it was, control period, just so I know this is like centered, right? And when we, you know, rotate on the X, it's still like that. Okay. So here what I would do, kind of looks like RoboCop, right? Here what I would do is I will add a cube, move it right here. And then maybe make it like this. And then I am going to, yeah, it's probably fine. Go into edit mode. I'm gonna add some loop cuts in the middle, maybe 3. Add more loop cuts in the middle here, like so. And then we're going to apply a subdivision surface modifier, maybe go up to 4. 4 looks good. Okay, and then I'm just gonna place this where I want Let's mirror it actually. Mirror, use the face. And then I'm going to isolate these two because I don't want to see anything else. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball it. Like, I hate having to eyeball things, but like I said, I don't know how else to do this. So if anybody else has like a better idea of how they would do this, please let me know in the comments, because I would very much appreciate how you would do this. Okay, so we want these holes to gradually get smaller, so I'm just gonna scale it by 0.9. And then here I am, like I said, just eyeballing it, you know, giving a decent space, and I'm lining up with this like curve to make this like as flat as possible. But we kind of want to prioritize pointing forward more than out, just because, you know, that looks maybe a little silly if it's too outward like that, because eyes are pointing forward, right? So we're going to scale this by 0.9 as well. So these do get, you know, gradually smaller. But I am seeing that this visor is not very flat. So I'm just going to raise it up like that. And then move these up a little bit, like so. And then here, the most important thing is I don't want this to like punch through. So if I scale this on the YY, then it'll like kind of go through, right? Like this. And you could do that if that's what you were going for. But I actually don't want it to go through. So again, I am just eyeballing it here, so I don't love this. But if I think this is good enough, I'm going to take these three and then click the visor last. And where's our thing? In Bool Tool, we're gonna do a difference, and that'll just carve out the like the eye slits, and that's what it will look like. And that is exactly how I did the Valorian helmet, and this is what that looks like. And since this is for like 3D printing, and then we would like maybe move it down like that. Since this is for 3D printing, you would just, you know, paint this darker than the visor to signify that it's like, you know, an eye hole. Okay. But if you wanted to like punch it all the way through, you could do that as well, and then you would just, you know, see the eyes underneath. But I don't think I want that. So this is how I would do it. And when it goes up, this might be the height where I would put the visor if it was like up. And yeah, you don't have to like stick to this. So when it's up, you can like move it like this. And, you know, I think that looks fine. But you could just leave it like this as well, because when you like combine all these to prepare for 3D printing, this will just kind of like the helmet and the visor will just kind of like blend together, and it'll be a little like slope here, but when you paint it, you probably won't be able to tell. So if you wanted to say like, you know, keep it like this, but like I said, you can just move it so that it's not like that. And let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks fine, but it's a little too like protruded for my taste. So I would probably leave it there, you know, personally. Okay, so we are pretty much done. Like you can stop right here, and like this is your helmet. Let me just show you how I would add a couple of details. Okay, so we're going to add a UV sphere. Let's just put that here for now, and then we're going to add a cylinder. Okay, the cylinder I'm rotating on the Y by 90, and maybe scale on the X by 0.5, and I'm just gonna stick it on the side right here to make it look like it's like a a rivet. Okay. And then I'm just adding a loop cut in the middle. And then I'm insetting a little bit, and then let's turn off proportional editing. And then moving it out a little bit, and then insetting it again like that. And then here all I would do is do a subdivision surface modifier to see what that looks like. Maybe go to 3. And yeah, maybe add a loop cut here. And maybe there. Yeah, I like that. And then you can move this in like so that we have that spot where, you know, this thing seems to be rotating. Okay. And then for this one, I'm going to rotate it on the Y by 90. And then I'm actually going to add a subdivision surface modifier, 2 of them. And then scale this by 0.5. And then these are gonna be like the rivets that I put into the helmet here. Oh, first I'm gonna put this visor down so I don't, like, you know, put it in the way. So maybe like here, and I would just move it until it's kind of like halfway in like that. It might be a little hard to do because the helmet is kind of like going in like a diagonal direction. But just do your best. Doesn't really matter. And then here I'm just going to do a mirror modifier and use the face so that it shows up on both sides. And then I think I want like one more rivet here, and then one more here. But I want to put this here and maybe here. Going back to front view, we are just going to put it in and then put it in so that this is what we have. Okay. Make sure it's not like, you know, poking through. And I don't know if these are where like rivets would go. I'm not a blacksmith IRL, but maybe somebody will see this in the thumbnail and be like, hey, that's not where the rivets go, and they can educate me. I would totally welcome that. But yeah, I think this looks pretty good. One last thing that I might do is add another cylinder. Maybe move it up here. Let's scale that by 2. Scale it on the ZZ by 0.5. And then put it like so. And I'm just going to put that, I don't know what it's called. Again, if you know, please let me know in the comments. But it's like that horsetail kind of looking thing that some night helmets have. So yeah, that's all I'm doing. So we got that. And this is exactly how we learned how to make the hair. We'll just add a circle. We'll add another path curve. Rotate that on the X by 90. And then we can actually just do this right now. Shring, shring. Something like that. I'm gonna move this out of the way a little bit, actually. We'll go here, scale this part by 0.5, scale this 0.5, scale this 0.5, scale this by 0.5. And that's how I usually make the most common hair that I make. It's like a sharper edged hair. And then we're going to go here into data, go to geometry, object, pick this as our object, and then fill caps to fill in the edges. Okay, and we're just gonna Alt S to make this smaller, and then maybe Alt S here to make this bigger, and then maybe like a slight Alt S here to make that smaller. Okay, so this is gonna be like that horsehair kind of thing, like I said. I'm just using the proportional editing to like move this around. I think that looks good. And then we're just gonna do this real quick, okay? So don't judge me on how bad this might look. This is just for demonstration purposes, okay? So I'm just gonna do that. Let's multiply or duplicate that. Okay. I am mirroring, so this is useful if you're trying to like save some time, but not very useful if you want both sides to look, you know, slightly different. Okay, I think I'm good with that. But yeah, there you have it. This is how I would make a helmet. I'm gonna move this. Gotta move this together like so. Okay, that looks good. And the last thing I would do is just like take all of this. Take all of this. I think that's it. Oh, yeah. Take all of that, click the head last, and then I would parent it. So Control P, and then parent to object, so that now when we move the head, the entire helmet moves with it. Okay. Forgot to mirror this on the other side, so mirror it like so, and then one last thing I'll talk about is, let's say this head is turned and, you know, it's facing slightly down, and you want to rotate this on the helmet. If you were to press RX for rotating on the X-axis, it's not going to be the same, right? But as long as you don't apply the rotation, if you press XX, then it'll rotate on the X-axis that it was before. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so here, you know, you have like the visor on, and then XX, here you have the visor up. And then you can move, you know, the head around as you would, okay? But I am going to leave it like this, and make sure you save often because you can lose this. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's lesson. I hope you learned something new. And if you did, please feel free to leave a like and a comment down below and subscribe. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.